So Strange Supreme. Strange Supreme gets my rejected seal. I don't see how this card lasts past a couple of weeks, or a week if that. Did my editor set me up by showing an old clip?
Your takes are awful.
So I may have been a little wrong, just a little bit, but I can counter with this clip. This genuinely to me seems like it could be the most powerful 2-cost card.
Denied.
So it turns out my final conclusion was incorrect. This is definitely not a card I rejected, because it took me all of 15 minutes of watching other people use the card to see how good it was and get inspired and go to work just cooking up unique decks. I have one in the chamber that I am super excited to bring you all. If it's not out by the time you're watching this, it will be out shortly. And this card is just fantastic. That said, everybody is telling you to get this card. I am one of those people, but there's a massive condition, and that is this card is at risk of getting nerfed. Now, I don't think they will kill it into the ground. They will do something slight like they did with Sam Wilson Captain America, like they did with Iron Patriot, where it's still very usable, still very good. But this is far and away the most powerful 2-drop in the game. And when you think about other 2-drops that were super powerful, there was Angela. Others are blanking right now. Was Thena nerfed at some point? Maybe, maybe not. Collector, I believe, was nerfed at some point. So these scaling 2-cost cards, they don't necessarily want to see them be super good and go into a bunch of different decks, and that's where I think Strange Supreme is at right now. When you think of another super scaler like Havoc, that has a huge condition on it. Strange Supreme does not have much of a condition. Yes, you need to play other cards sometimes, but there are cards that generate tokens on the board for free, like just doing normal stuff. And just run Cosmo in your deck if you're worried about Shang-Chi or Shadow King. Armor works too for Shang-Chi. And this Strange Supreme just solos lanes, where all you have to worry about is another lane. And while you need cards that generate tokens or other cards, there are still a wide variety of archetypes you can play them in. So this is just a fantastic card, top to bottom. Nothing really bad to say about it. So if you want to pick up this strong card while it's still super strong, do it. But just understand it's probably headed for a nerf. So don't get too upset when that happens. You have been warned. Here's the Spotlight Week, and why in the world am I showing the Spotlight Week when we are switching over to the card shop, whatever it's being called, token shop? Because if you do not update your game, then you still have a Spotlight Week for 48 hours or thereabouts. So if you want to engage with this Spotlight Week, you can. Just don't update your game immediately and log in within those 2 days to actually use your keys. Or if you update, you will just be in the token shop and you will just have access to Hydra Stomper or the new snap packs. So the thumbnail of this video or title probably gave it away. Like, I couldn't even fake interest for this card.
Trash.
so this is pretty straightforward. It's an ongoing card. You get bonus power when you move other cards, but also we're just coming off of Strange Supreme, which also gets bonus power. It's not susceptible to all of the ongoing tech there is. It also gets bonus power and a lot more than +1, and it's a 2-cost. So this is like Hydra Stomper following Strange Supreme is like when a comedian or a singer has to follow one of the best of all time, and then you have to go out there as a second act. You're just gonna look so much worse by comparison. So anyway, have I taken a big enough dump on Hydra Stomper?
Stop! He's already dead!
But all that said, he can function in move-centric decks. This is a card ultimately that can operate at all different collection levels, really through Heimdall. And you also have like a small bounce package that you can do as well to get Hydra Stomper buffed. The other cards in the Spotlight Week, Arana and Madame Web, also feed into Hydra Stomper being buffed. You don't have to play him out early. You can play him out on turn 6 if you want to, because it's an ongoing card. I guess it tracks all of the moves that you've done, and because it's ongoing, you can just play it later in the same way you can play Morbius on the last turn, and he still has the buffs. Null, there are a bunch of ongoing cards that have the buffs. Devil Dino, you can play them whenever, and they will just get the buff based on the state of the game, what's happened thus far. I brought up Heimdall, Series 2. Heimdall is where it's at. There's also Cloak, Iron Fist, Doctor Strange. Yes, those are the movers. Nightcrawler as well on his own. Vision as well if you need to play him on turn 5. So there's a decent amount of movers here, and your Hydra Stomper can get large. I'm not bothering to do the math, but for a 3-cost card, it can get up to decent power. So Series 3, while I haven't made a deck video along this vein, I've been batting it around, so I'm kind of exposing a deck that you may see, or a similar deck that you may see later. And that is to kind of merge the bounce style with Heimdall. Even though this is a move deck, Heimdall isn't expected in bounce move. So if you can build up those cards, play Heimdall and slip them around, or if you're unable to get your bounce game plan going, you still have Heimdall to finish off the game. Enchantress is here for tech. Right now we're in an ongoing heavy meta, so Enchantress is a tech card of choice, but that's totally up to you. Armor is here to protect a big Human Torch or Vulture, and then Hydra Stomper can benefit from all of the moves that you've been doing. You've been bouncing cards, moving them again. For the main version, we are fully leaning into bounce. We of course have all of the cards that are in the Spotlight Week this week: Arana, Madame Web, and Hydra Stomper. And just being able to bounce, you're building up that Hydra Stomper. You can play him on the last turn. The max energy in this deck is 3 cost, so you will always be able to play him on the last turn if you so choose, or weave him in depending on how your game plan's going. I also have Bast in here and Nico, which can enable, Nico has a move spell, or if you need to do something else with her, destroy to draw. Bast can power up your Human Torch, Madame Web, Toxin. So there's some uses there. Even Hydra Stomper gets a +1 because of Bast. This is another idea for a Hydra Stomper deck. Arana is coming off of a semi-recent nerf. I don't know if it was a month or 2 ago, where instead of +2, now she's giving +1. Still a very capable card, a good card, especially in move decks. But she does have some utility outside of move decks if you want to get fancy with, let's say, a Nimrod, which is why it was better at +2, or some other card, just being unexpected, being able to slide a card right that the opponent, you know, why do you have Arana in your deck? But by and large, she's a move card. Madame Web. So I have a older video at this point with Madame Web in a non-move deck. Let's start there, where I run Cosmo, and I think so, I forget what else is in that deck, but it's a control heavy deck. I think Jean Grey might even be in there, and then you can just slide around that Cosmo and really shut down on reveal decks. So it depends about what meta you're in, and right now we're in more of a heavy ongoing meta, so I don't know if that would really work. And then of course she fits in move decks. I would say she's most effective in like a small move bounce type deck, which is what I presented earlier. But she can work in other decks where maybe you want to finish with a Heimdall, you're sliding cards around, and that's just enough to win games because the move cards just go to astronomical power levels sometimes, and you can just solo lanes with a Human Torch and a Vulture. Very obvious this week, I am not getting Hydra Stomper. I don't think he's interesting at all. This is a card, listen, if I'm wrong 2 weeks in a row, so be it. But yeah, I don't see how this card, who's getting this card, why somebody would be interested in this card, because Move already has large power sources. why would I ever want to play Hydra Stomper over a Vulture or over playing other move cards to get my Dagger large, get my Human Torch large? They will always dwarf Hydra Stomper in power, always. So this is just underpowered for what move likes to be doing, what move is best at. And I don't know why you would want to use a slot in a move deck for Hydra Stomper over a card that can help further those other plans that you have. Thanks to all the members of the channel, and thank you to everybody that watches my videos to completion. It helps the channel grow. I thank you. And so the last week I'll be doing this type of recap because Spotlight weeks are going away. So Hydra Stomper, quick, rejected, not good. Arana, approved. I like Arana. I don't know how good or bad she is, but I like her. And I like her in move decks and some other decks that I play off meta stuff. So I'll throw her in different non-move decks from time to time. And so I just like what she can provide with that movement, and a +1 is nice as well. And then Madame Web gets my approved symbol as well. She is fantastic in some of these move decks. One card I didn't mention was Hercules. Being able to pair Madame Web with Hercules, and then you throw down a Living Tribunal to spread that Torch's power or Vulture's power across all 3 lanes. That's super powerful. I am pretty sure I have a deck video on that as well. I'll see if I can't dig it up if it's not being displayed right now. And that is what I think of the week. Let me know your thoughts. Will I be wrong again?
Yes, you dummy.
Only time will tell.